I didn't expect to marry her. Hell, I didn't even expect her to know my name. But the day Alexandria Vale walked into the bookstore I worked at, heels too sharp, coat too expensive, eyes like she owned the city, was the day my life stopped being mine. She didn't look like someone who read. She looked like someone who bought companies, signed contracts, broke hearts, and never looked back. I was shelving poetry when I saw her. She stood there, all crisp lines and cool elegance, scanning the room like it offended her. Then her eyes locked on me. "You're Ivy Monroe," she said. Not a question, a statement. I straightened slowly. "Who's asking?" "Alexandria Vale." The name landed in the air like a weight. Everyone knew it. Heiress, CEO, multi-millionaire, untouchable. "Congratulations," I offered. Her mouth twitched. Not quite a smile. "I need a wife." I stared at her, blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" "You heard me. Is this a prank?" "It's an opportunity." She stepped closer. Her perfume hit me, dark, clean, expensive. She smelled like confidence and danger. "I need to be married by the end of the quarter to secure a merger. My team's scrambling. I don't have time to date. I don't trust strangers. And I certainly don't want a man. And you thought me? You're discreet, smart, unattached. You work at a bookstore, which gives you flexibility. And according to your landlord, you're 3 months behind on rent." My jaw dropped. "You investigated me? I paid someone to."
Wow.
That's not creepy at all. "Look, Monroe, I don't care if you like me. I don't care if you think this is insane. But I'm offering you half the $1 million, full health coverage, and a contract that guarantees your independence once the marriage ends. If you enjoyed this content and want to support the channel in a special way, try clicking the thanks button below. It's the one with the heart and $sign icon. With super thanks, you can make a direct contribution to the channel, which helps me keep creating awesome videos for you. 1 year. That's it. No sex. No strings. Just a name on paper. You'll have your own space. Your own life. You just have to show up to events with me and smile when the cameras are on. And if I say no, then I ask someone else. I swallowed hard. She was serious. I could see it in her eyes, that cold, glittering steel beneath the surface. "Why me?" I asked. "Why not someone who actually fits in your world?" "Because people who fit want more. And I don't want to be wanted. I want to be married." I should have walked away. I should have laughed and told her she was out of her mind. But instead, I said, "Let me think about it." She gave me her card. Sleek. Matte black. Just her name. No number. No title. Just Alexandria Vale. I didn't sleep that night. I stared at my cracked ceiling and thought about my dead-end job, my overdue bills, my half-written manuscript collecting dust under the bed. I thought about her, too. Her voice. Her eyes. The way she looked at me like she already owned me and was just waiting for me to admit it. The next day, I called. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. An hour later, a car picked me up. We signed the prenup that afternoon. Her lawyer, a man with zero personality and immaculate eyebrows, read through the terms. I'd be paid monthly. I'd attend 6 corporate events, 3 public interviews, and 1 week-long vacation in Italy for the final quarter. We'd share a penthouse, but not a bed. I'd get an allowance for clothes. She'd handle the rest. "You'll be photographed," the lawyer warned. "Speculated about. You'll be expected to play the part." "And what part is that?" I asked. "The girl who married the Ice Queen and made her look human." "Charming," I muttered. Alexandria watched me sign. She didn't blink. When it was done, she stood, extended her hand. "Welcome to the contract, Mrs. Vale." My pulse stuttered. "We're doing this?" "We are." "You're insane." "You'll thank me." The wedding was private. 2 witnesses. No family. I wore a white dress she had delivered to my door. Simple. Elegant. Too expensive. She wore a suit that made me question everything I thought I liked about women. Sharp shoulders. Slim waist. That mouth. We didn't kiss. Just signed. Just posed. Just stared at each other across a table like we were closing a deal, which I suppose we were. That night, I stood in her penthouse and realized how far I was from the life I knew. Marble floors, glass walls, wine I couldn't pronounce. Alexandria handed me a key card. Your room's down the hall. Left side. You have full access to the gym, kitchen, and pool. Don't answer the door unless it's the driver. Don't talk to the press. Don't fall in love. I snorted. Not a problem. Good. She paused. But pretend you did. When the cameras are on. Naturally. And Monroe. Yeah. Don't try to understand me. Just survive me. I went to my room. Sat on the bed. Stared at the dress, still clinging to my skin. Married. To a woman who looked like a statue and spoke like a machine. But something about her, something deep beneath that armor, made my stomach twist. She didn't want love. She didn't want me. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't already wonder what her mouth tasted like when it wasn't busy making threats. And when I closed my eyes that night, the sound I heard wasn't her voice. It was my own, whispering the truth I didn't want to admit. This is going to ruin me. Living with Alexandria Vale was like living in a museum curated by someone with no warmth and unlimited wealth. Everything in the penthouse gleamed. Marble counters, velvet chairs, art that probably cost more than my student debt. It was cold, immaculate, breathtaking, like her. She barely spoke to me that first week. She left early, came home late, ate alone, worked in silence. Her presence was a shadow that moved from room to room, all sharp heels and clipped words. And yet, I couldn't stop watching her. The way she took her coffee, black, no sugar, always in the same white mug. The way she removed her earrings at the end of the day, slow, precise, like she was unraveling a version of herself no one else got to see. The way she touched nothing unless it was necessary, like even affection would be a waste of time. And still, every time she entered the room, my heart reacted like I was 12 and she was the girl I'd written poems about in secret. Stop staring, she said one morning, not looking up from her tablet. I'm not. I lied, buttering toast I wasn't hungry for. You are. Sorry. Hard not to when I live in a Vogue spread. Flattery won't shorten the contract. Not trying to shorten it, just trying to survive it. Then follow the rules. Which are, don't get involved. You married me, Alexandria. Bit late for that. She finally looked at me. Those eyes so cool, so unreadable. You're here because you were convenient. Let's not confuse survival with significance. I stood, heart thudding. You really don't believe in kindness, do you? I believe in control. Must be lonely. Lonely is efficient. I walked out before I said something I couldn't take back. That night, I found a dress laid out on my bed. A note beside it. Charity gala. Be ready by 6:30. Wear this. No red lipstick. It wasn't signed. Didn't have to be. I wore the dress. It fit like sin. Deep green silk, tight in all the places that made me feel powerful. She didn't say anything when she saw me. Just handed me a diamond necklace and turned me toward the mirror. Hair up, she said, fingers brushing the nape of my neck. More dangerous that way. I caught her eyes in the reflection. Dangerous for who? She didn't answer. The gala was a blur of faces I didn't recognize, compliments I didn't believe, champagne I sipped to stay calm. Alexandria's hand rested on my lower back all night. Light, possessive, practiced. Like she was reminding everyone in the room that I belonged to her. The cameras clicked. Her smile never cracked. I played the part. But the longer we stood side by side, the more I felt it. The tension beneath the silk and diamonds. The way her fingers lingered when they didn't need to. The way her body leaned just slightly into mine when we posed for photos. The way her voice dropped when she spoke into my ear, low and smooth and completely unnecessary. Don't smile too wide, she said once. It'll look forced. Everything's forced, I replied. Exactly. When we got home, I kicked off the heels and dropped onto the couch. Do you enjoy pretending to care about people you'd clearly throw off a balcony? She poured herself a drink. It's an art. You're terrifying. You're impressed. I'm bored. She raised a brow. Then find a hobby. What about you? My hobby is making empires out of dust. You should try making something real. And you should try not falling in love. That stopped me. The room pulsed with silence. I'm not in love with you. Good. But you keep acting like you're daring me to be. Her gaze darkened. Careful, Monroe. Why? Afraid I might like you. Afraid you might think I'll like you back. She walked away, heels clicking like punctuation. And I sat there, breathless, skin flushed, angry and confused, and turned on in ways I didn't know how to explain. Later that night, I passed by her bedroom. The door was ajar. Her silhouette stood by the window, backlit by city lights, robe hanging loose, glass of scotch in hand. She looked like loneliness dressed in gold. She looked like danger. She looked like everything I wasn't supposed to want. I should have kept walking. Instead, I watched her until she turned. Her eyes met mine. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. I walked away, and when I lay in bed that night, the silence between us was louder than any words. I hated her. I craved her. I was starting to forget where one ended and the other began. The next week was a game I didn't know I was playing until I was already losing. Alexandria didn't touch me, didn't look at me for longer than necessary, didn't speak unless it was about the schedule or the rules or which dress I'd be expected to wear to the next event. And yet, everything she did screamed something else entirely. The way she moved through the apartment like she owned the air, the silence, even the space between our breaths. The way her eyes found mine when she thought I wasn't watching. The way she said my name, Monroe, like it was a warning and a promise all at once. We're having dinner with the chairman of Cortland Equity next Thursday, she said one morning, not looking up from her tablet. He's old money, conservative, wears something that makes me look respectable. So, not the red dress? I asked, biting into toast. Unless you want him to spontaneously combust, maybe I do. She gave me a look, the kind that would shut down a lesser person. But I'd stopped being scared of her a long time ago. Now I just wanted to understand her. Or maybe I wanted to break her open. You always like this? I asked. Sharp. Cold. Impossible to impress. No. Just with people who get too curious. So, with everyone then. Exactly. And when do you let someone see the real you? She paused. When I forget, I have something to lose. That's convenient, considering you never forget anything. Exactly. She walked away before I could respond. I should have left it alone. But I didn't. That night, I waited for her to come home. She was later than usual, hair windswept from the rain, heels slick with water. She looked exhausted, beautiful, unreachable. Rough day? I asked. You have no idea. Try me. She slipped off her coat, revealing a dark silk blouse clinging to her skin. People expect me to be two things at once, soft enough to charm them, hard enough to control them. You're very good at the second one. And the first. I haven't seen it yet. That's because you're not supposed to. I stood from the couch, crossed to her slowly. And what if I want to? Her breath caught, just slightly. Then I'd say that's dangerous. For who? I asked again. She didn't answer. I stepped closer. We've been living in the same space for weeks now. Sharing headlines, dinner tables, lies. I know what your perfume smells like when it fades. I know you leave one light on in your room when you sleep. I know you like red wine, but pretend to prefer white because your clients expect it. I know you, Alexandria. At least a little. You know the version I let you see. Then let me see more. Her jaw tightened. You're my wife on paper. That's all. That's not all, and you know it. She stepped forward. Eyes dark. Dangerous. Don't push me. Why not? Because if I start wanting you, she said, voice low, I won't be able to stop. The silence cracked like thunder between us. And for a second, I thought she'd kiss me. Thought I'd let her. Thought I'd beg for it. But instead, She turned and walked to the window. I exhaled. My hands trembled. She didn't look at me for the rest of the night. But when she left for work the next morning, there was coffee waiting for me. Just the way I liked it. No note. No acknowledgement. But it was enough. That day, I couldn't stop thinking about her. About the way she said, wanting you like it was a curse. Like needing me was something she feared more than failure. That night, we had to attend a museum gala. High society. Too much perfume. Endless cameras. I wore a black dress with thin straps and a slit that showed just enough. When she saw me, something in her expression flickered. Almost hunger. She didn't comment. Just offered her arm. Try not to look bored, she murmured as we entered. Then say something interesting. You like provoking me. You make it so easy. Her hand found the small of my back as we walked in. She introduced me to donors, curators, politicians. I smiled. I laughed. I played the role. And the whole time, I felt her watching me, like she was waiting for me to crack. But I didn't. Not until the end of the night, when we were alone again in the car. The silence was thick. Her thigh pressed lightly against mine. Her hand rested on the leather between us, not touching me, but so close I could feel the heat. You were good tonight, she said finally. Good. Charming. Controlled. You looked, she stopped herself. What? Like someone who doesn't belong to anyone. And I didn't like that. Why? Because you're wearing my ring. I turned toward her, heart pounding, then act like it means something. I'm trying not to. Why? Because I want to keep this clean. It's already messy. It doesn't have to be. It already is. She looked at me then, eyes burning. And when she leaned in, barely cautiously, I didn't pull away. But she didn't kiss me. Just looked. Like she was memorizing the shape of me. And then, as quickly as she leaned in, she pulled back. Good night, Monroe. Coward, I whispered. She didn't reply, but her hands were trembling. The thing about silence is that it's never really silent. Not when you're sharing it with someone you can't stop wanting. After that night in the car, everything between us changed. Not outwardly. She still barely spoke to me in the mornings. Still sent me texts that read like directives instead of invitations. Still walked past me like I was air when her phone rang. But the air between us was charged now. Tighter. Hungrier. She looked at me longer. I looked back harder. One night, I was curled up on the couch, reading, when she came in from a dinner meeting. She wore a navy suit that fit like it had been built around her. Her hair was up. Her lipstick faintly faded. She looked like a weapon. You're home early, I said, not looking up from the page. Deal closed faster than expected. That happen often? No. Must be my lucky night. She poured herself a drink. Didn't answer. I kept reading. Or pretended to. She sat across from me, kicked off her heels, undid the first button of her shirt. I looked up. Her eyes were already on me. Is there a reason you've been avoiding me all week? I asked. I haven't. Right. Just strategic absence. I'm giving you space. What if I don't want space? Then you're more dangerous than I thought. And you're more scared than you pretend to be. She stood, walked over slowly. I sat up, heart hammering. She stopped right in front of me, close enough that I could smell her perfume. This wasn't part of the agreement, she said. Neither was looking at me like that. Her gaze dropped to my mouth. You're not helping. I'm not trying to. Her hand brushed my jaw, barely there. My whole body lit up. Ivy, she said, voice low, like it was breaking through something. Yes. Tell me to stop. No. Tell me this isn't a mistake. It's already too late. She leaned down, kissed me, and everything exploded. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't careful. It was raw and fierce and desperate, like she'd been holding it in for weeks. Like I was the only thing she'd ever wanted and was finally letting herself have. I pulled her closer. She climbed into my lap. Her hands were in my hair, on my waist, gripping like she didn't trust herself to let go. This changes everything. I breathed against her mouth. I know. Are you ready for that? No, good. Because neither was I. But we kissed anyway. Again.
And again.
And when she finally pulled away, eyes glassy, breath uneven, she whispered, "We can't do this again. You're going to lie to me right after kissing me like that? This can't happen again."
Sure.
I mean it. Okay. Stop smiling. Then stop looking at me like I'm the end of the world. She backed away. We made a deal. Deals change. Not mine. Then why are your hands still shaking? She didn't answer, just turned and walked to her room. But she didn't close the door. That night, I lay awake listening to the sound of her pacing, back and forth, over and over, like she could walk off the need, the guilt, the truth. But she couldn't. And I knew then she could pretend all she wanted.
But she wanted me.
She just didn't know how to let herself have anything real. The next morning, she was gone before I woke. But there was a note on the counter. Just one sentence. Tonight, 8 p.m., where something read. I stared at it, heart racing. A command. A test. A promise. I didn't know which. But I knew I'd show up. And I knew something between us had just broken. Or begun. At 7:59 p.m., I stepped into the hallway in a red satin dress that felt like it was made of sin. It clung to my hips, exposed just enough of my back to make Alexandria's breath catch when she saw me, and made me feel powerful in a way I hadn't felt since before all this began. She was already waiting by the door, dressed in a black tuxedo that made her look like a sin herself. Her hair was slicked back, her lipstick dark, her expression unreadable, except for her eyes. They didn't move from me once. "You look," she started, then stopped. "Dangerous?" I offered. "Yes," she said. "Exactly." She opened the car door for me, didn't touch me, but her hand lingered near my lower back for a fraction too long. I said nothing. Neither did she. But the air was thick. The event was some kind of charity dinner at a rooftop hotel, all glass and gold, and people who spoke in false laughs and looked at Alexandria like she belonged to a different species. She played her part, elegant and sharp, but she never strayed far from me. Her hand found mine for the first time when someone approached us, an older man with an obvious agenda and a condescending smile. She didn't say a word when he looked at me too long, just slid her fingers between mine, tight, claiming. After he left, she leaned down, voice low at my ear. "You shouldn't wear that dress if you want me to behave." "I don't want you to behave." "Careful, Monroe." "Make me." Her fingers tightened, but she said nothing.
Not then.
Not until we were back in the car, the driver silent, the city blurring past the windows.
She didn't speak.
Didn't move, just stared straight ahead. And yet her thigh pressed against mine like it was intentional, like she was daring me to speak first. I didn't. Not until we were in the elevator, alone, the silence between us a live wire. "Say it," I whispered. She turned her head slowly. "Say what?" "That you want me." "I don't. Liar." "You think this is a game?"
No.
"I think it's the first thing you haven't been able to control." She stepped forward. The elevator doors opened, but neither of us moved. "I'm trying not to ruin you," she said. "You already have." I pushed the button to close the doors. And then I kissed her. Or maybe she kissed me. I didn't know who moved first. It didn't matter. The moment our mouths met, everything else fell away. She slammed me against the wall, hands in my hair, her lips hungry, punishing, desperate. I moaned into her mouth, pulled her closer, and the sound she made when my hands slid under her jacket was almost a growl. "Alexandria," I gasped. "Tell me to stop. Don't you dare." We stumbled into the penthouse, kissing like we'd been starving. Clothes hit the floor, her jacket my heels, her tie undone with shaking fingers. She lifted me onto the counter, pushed my legs apart, and looked at me like I was made of something sacred and forbidden at once. "You're not just beautiful," she said, voice ragged. "You're dangerous. So are you. But I've spent my whole life pretending I'm not. Then don't pretend tonight." She didn't. She touched me like she already knew my body. like every inch of me had been haunting her for weeks. I pulled her shirt open, kissed down the line of her throat, felt her shudder when I whispered, "This doesn't feel like pretending." "It's not." "Then what is it?" "A mistake I want to keep making." We didn't make it to the bedroom. The marble floor, the rug in front of the fireplace, the wall beside the windows. We left pieces of ourselves in every corner of that space. She was rough, then gentle, then rough again. I gave as much as I took. When she finally collapsed beside me, chest rising and falling, skin damp with sweat, she didn't say anything. I turned to her, touched her face. "This changes everything." She closed her eyes. "I know. Are you going to pretend it didn't happen?" "I want to, but I can't." I leaned down, kissed her again.
Softer. Slower.
This time with feeling. She kissed me back like she hated herself for it. And when she pulled away, she whispered, "Don't fall in love with me." Too late. She flinched, but didn't run. And that was something. That was everything. The morning after, I woke up alone. Her side of the couch was cold. My dress was draped over the armchair, neatly folded. My earrings were on the counter, and Alexandria was gone. No note, no message, no sign of her in the kitchen or her room, just silence. I made coffee anyway, drank it in one of the overpriced mugs she kept in rows like museum pieces, and tried not to think about how her mouth felt on my neck. I failed. I tried not to remember the way she looked at me when she was inside me, like I was the only thing in her world that made sense. I failed harder. At noon, she texted, "Working late. Don't wait up." That was all. No mention of what happened. No acknowledgement. Just business as usual. Except nothing felt usual now. Not the way her perfume lingered in the air. Not the way my body still ached for her. Not the way every room in this apartment suddenly felt smaller. Tighter. I spent the day trying to distract myself.
Cleaned.
Reread old poetry I used to love. Went through the kitchen cabinets and labeled everything out of spite. And when night came, I didn't wait up. But I didn't sleep either. I heard her come in just after 1. I heard her pause by the couch. I heard the rustle of her jacket, the soft sigh she always tried to hold back when she was tired. I almost called out. I didn't. The next morning, she was sitting at the table, reading the paper like nothing had changed. Like she hadn't touched me in every way a person could be touched. "Morning," I said, grabbing a cup. She glanced up. "Morning. Sleep well?" "Fine. Anything exciting in the financial section?" "Only if you find international stocks thrilling." "Riveting." I sat down. The silence stretched. Finally, I said, "Are we just not going to talk about it?" She didn't look up. "Talk about what?" "Don't insult me. It was a mistake. Try again." A lapse in judgment. "Alexandria, you knew the rules. The rules changed."
No.
"You changed them." "We both did." She looked at me then. Her eyes were sharp, but not cold, just tired. "I told you not to fall in love with me. You told me a lot of things. None of them felt true when your mouth was on mine." She flinched. "That shouldn't have happened, but it did. And it can't happen again." "You don't believe that." "I have to." I stood, walked to her side of the table.
Why?
"Because you're afraid I might start meaning something? Because you already do." Her voice cracked.
Just barely.
But it was enough. I reached out. She didn't stop me. My fingers brushed her cheek. Her eyes closed. "Then stop pretending you don't feel this," I whispered. "I feel it," she said. "That's the problem." "So, what? We just keep pretending we're strangers who happen to share a name?" "I don't know how to be anything else." "Then learn. Or let me go." "I can't let you go." I pulled back. "Then stop punishing me for being the one thing you didn't plan." She didn't answer, and I didn't push. I walked away. That night, she didn't come home. I waited, watched the clock tick past midnight, past 1, past 2. I gave up at 3, fell asleep on the couch. When I woke up, she was in the kitchen, barefoot, still in her suit from the night before. Her hair was undone. Her eyes were red. "You didn't sleep," I said. "Neither did you." "Where were you?" "Driving. All night. Trying to figure out if I'm brave enough to want you out loud." I stood. My chest ached. "And I'm not," she whispered. "Not yet." "That's honest. I don't want to lie to you anymore. Then start telling the truth." She walked toward me. Slow. Careful. "The truth is, I don't know how to be soft without falling apart. Then fall apart. I'll be here." Her hands found my waist. Her forehead rested against mine. "I want to want you quietly, but I never do." "Good. I want to go back to before." "You can't. I know." And when she kissed me again, it was softer this time. No fire. Just ache. Just truth. We didn't sleep together that night. We just lay in bed, fully clothed, our fingers intertwined. Her breathing was uneven.
Mine, too.
But she didn't let go. And neither did I. After that night, something shifted. We didn't speak about what we were, but Alexandria stopped running. She started coming home earlier. She brought me coffee in the mornings, sometimes without saying a word, just sliding the mug toward me with eyes that lingered too long. She didn't kiss me again for days. But she touched me in other ways, her fingers brushing mine when we passed in the kitchen, her hand resting on the small of my back at events, her gaze lingering when she thought I wasn't watching. I always was. And I saw everything. The tension in her jaw when someone flirted with me. The way her body leaned closer when I laughed too loudly at someone else's joke. The way her hand tightened on my waist just slightly when cameras flashed. Possessive. Careful. Afraid. I didn't push, but I felt it deep in my bones. She was slipping closer to me, and it terrified her. One evening, we came home from a black tie fundraiser, and she didn't say a word. Just tossed her clutch onto the kitchen island, pulled off her earrings, and poured herself a drink. I leaned against the counter. "Want to talk about it?" She took a long sip. "There's nothing to talk about. You've been tense all night. I'm always tense. Not like this." "Drop it, Monroe." I didn't. "Is it because of the woman who called me your trophy wife in front of the board?" Her eyes flashed. "She's irrelevant. You didn't say anything. Because if I had, I'd have ruined the merger. So you let her insult me. I protected you. By pretending I don't matter? You matter," she said, voice low and sharp. "More than you should." That stopped me. "Then say it." She looked at me. Her mask cracked. "I can't." "Why?" "Because the second I say it, it becomes real. And if it's real, I can lose it." "You can lose me anyway, Alexandria. Every time you stay quiet, every time you pull away, you make it harder to stay." She set her glass down. "Then leave." The words hit like ice. But her eyes betrayed her. She didn't mean it. She was scared. Of love. Of needing. Of me.
"No," I said.
"I'm not walking away just because you're afraid. I don't need you to save me. I'm not trying to. I just want you to meet me. And if I don't know how, then try." She stared at me, then crossed the space between us and kissed me like an apology, like a confession. Like maybe she was starting to believe she was allowed to want something more. We didn't speak again that night, but we made love slowly. Not like the first time, wild and desperate. This time it was soft, intentional. Her fingers traced every inch of me like she was memorizing it. Her mouth moved over mine like she had something to say, but didn't know the words yet. And when she came undone against me, trembling, she whispered my name like a prayer. Afterward, she curled into me, her body tight, her breath uneven. "You scare me," she said. I brushed hair from her face. "Because I see you? Because you make me want to be seen. That's not a bad thing. It is when you've spent your whole life hiding behind power. You're more than power. You're the only one who's ever believed that." I kissed her temple. "Maybe it's time you start believing it too." In the days that followed, something new bloomed. She invited me to meetings. Introduced me not just as her wife, but as someone she trusted. She asked my opinion. She listened. She laughed. And then, one morning, she asked me to travel with her. "It's a weekend trip," she said, eyes flicking away. "The Hamptons. Just us. No press. No obligations. You sure? I want you there." "Why?" "Because when I think about that house being empty, it makes me ache. And that scares the hell out of me." I touched her hand. "Then let's go." She nodded, but I saw it in her eyes. The fear was still there.
Real.
Quiet. But she was trying. For me. For us. And maybe, just maybe, that meant we had a chance. Not just to survive this marriage, but to turn it into something true. The Hamptons were too quiet, too beautiful, too far from the sharp, calculated world Alexandria used to control everything. The house was massive, all glass and ocean breeze and white linen furniture I was afraid to sit on. But the moment we stepped through the door, something in her shifted. Her shoulders lowered. Her voice softened. She took off her heels and walked barefoot across the polished wood floors like she didn't have a company to run or an empire to defend. "I used to come here when I needed to disappear," she said, placing her bag down. "No staff. No security. Just me and the silence. And now you brought me. Now it's not silence I want anymore." The words landed gently, like a confession wrapped in silk. I didn't reply. I just followed her through the house, through the wide kitchen, and out onto the back deck, where the ocean stretched out like something we'd never deserve, but could still touch. We spent the first few hours doing nothing.
Sitting. Drinking wine.
Talking about everything but us. She told me about the first company she ever bought, age 24, terrified, pretending she wasn't. I told her about my first heartbreak. How the girl didn't even say goodbye, just ghosted me mid-semester. Alexandria winced. Some women are cowards. Some women are scared. You can be both. You would know.
She didn't argue.
That night, we made dinner together or tried. I burned the garlic. She laughed. I nearly dropped a pan.
She caught it.
Then I caught her around the waist, pulling her in, kissing her with flour on my hands and a grin on my face. She kissed me back like she was finally letting herself live. After dinner, we sat on the deck again, wrapped in blankets, the wind playing with her hair. "Do you ever think about what happens when the contract ends?" I asked. She tensed. "Don't." "Why not?" "Because I can't think about losing something I only just started to admit I want." "You think you'll lose me?" "Eventually. Everyone does." "You never had me on paper, Alexandria. You had me the moment you kissed me like it was the only honest thing you'd ever done. And that's the problem."
"Why?"
"Because I want you. In ways I don't know how to name. In ways that terrify me." "Then name what you can." She looked at me, reached out, brushed hair from my face. "I want to wake up with you every day and pretend I'm not scared. I want to make you coffee badly and kiss you while the toast burns. I want to fight over stupid things like throw pillows and grocery lists. I want a life where I don't have to perform to be loved. You already have that. You have me. For now. For as long as you choose me. And if I fail, then I'll be here helping you try again." Her eyes filled. She looked away. "I've never had someone stay. Then I'll be your first." We slept together that night without urgency. Just skin on skin, breath on breath, like the world had stopped turning for us. In the morning, I woke before her. Watched her sleep, vulnerable and still. One hand curled near her cheek, her mouth slightly parted. I kissed her forehead. She stirred. "You're staring," she murmured. "Can you blame me?" "I look ridiculous in the morning." "You look real." "That's worse." "No," I whispered. "That's everything." We made breakfast barefoot. She let me put on music, something soft, old. She even let me dance with her in the kitchen, her hands awkward at first, then confident, spinning me like she was trying to rewrite time. In the afternoon, we walked along the sand. She held my hand in broad daylight. No audience, no press, no performance. Just us. And in that quiet, she whispered, I love you. I stopped. Say it again. I love you. Since when? Since the moment you stopped letting me get away with lying to myself. I kissed her. Then let's stop lying. To each other. To the world. To the contract. What are you saying? I don't want to keep pretending we're just playing house. I want the real thing. She took a breath. Then when we go back to the city, we tell everyone? If you're ready. She looked out at the waves. I want to be. And for the first time, I believed her. Not because she promised, but because she showed me what it looked like when someone terrified of love chooses to love anyway. Coming back to the city felt like waking up from a dream I didn't want to leave. The apartment was colder than I remembered. The walls too high. The silence too sharp. Alexandria moved through it like she always did, precise, powerful, distant. But now I knew what her softness felt like. I'd seen it, held it, loved it, and I didn't want to pretend anymore. The morning after we returned, she poured 2 coffees and handed me mine without a word. Are we still doing this? I asked.
She paused.
Doing what? Pretending we're still just married on paper. We can't undo what we signed. That's not what I asked.
She didn't look at me.
We'll figure it out. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. I set the coffee down. Do you regret saying it? Saying what? That you love me. Her jaw tightened. No, then say it again. Why do you need to hear it twice? Because we're back in your world now. And I don't know who I am to you here. That got her attention. She looked up.
Slowly. Carefully.
You're the only thing that makes this place bearable. Then show me. That week was the hardest we'd had since the beginning. Not because we fought, but because we didn't know how to move forward. The press was everywhere. Questions came in subtle and brutal waves. Is the marriage real? Are they still together? Who is she really? I overheard someone in Alexandria's office call me a strategic placeholder, and she didn't correct them. That night, I confronted her. You let them say I don't matter. I didn't respond. That's the same thing. You want me to shout it from the rooftops? I want you to acknowledge me like I'm real. You are real, she said. Too real. That's the problem.
No.
The problem is you're still hiding behind the contract. Because it's the only thing that kept me safe until you. And now. She didn't answer. Just looked at me with eyes that said, I want you, and I don't know how all at once. I left that night. Just for a few hours. Walked the city alone. Thought about how stupid it was to fall in love with someone who didn't know how to keep what she begged for. When I came back, she was sitting on the floor of the living room, barefoot, a glass of wine untouched beside her. I thought you weren't coming back, she said. I didn't want to. Why did you? Because I still believe in you. She closed her eyes. Why? Because even when you're terrified, you still try. And because I see who you are when the mask comes off. You're the only one who ever has. I sat beside her. Then stopped trying to go back to who you were before me. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be. A long pause. Then she looked at me. The contract expires in 38 days. I already knew that. I'd been counting, silently, every morning. And I'm not renewing it. My throat closed. Okay. Because I want to ask you something else instead. I turned. What? Her hands trembled as she reached into her blazer pocket. Not a ring. Just a folded piece of paper. I opened it. My heart stopped. It was the dissolution clause.
Signed.
Dated. Ready to be filed. Alexandria. I want to end the marriage on paper, she said. So, I can ask you again.
Properly.
Without lawyers. Without money. Without pretending. You're asking me to marry you. For real. I am. I looked down at the paper. Are you sure?
No, she said.
But I've never been more willing to be unsure with someone. That's the most romantic thing you've ever said. Don't get used to it. I kissed her.
Slow. Deep.
Honest. And when I pulled away, I whispered, ask me again. She held my hand. Met my eyes. Ivy Monroe, will you marry me?
Yes.
Again. Always. And this time there was no contract. No lie. Just love. We didn't get married in a cathedral. There were no chandeliers, no flower walls, no orchestra playing some overpriced classical piece.
It was a Tuesday. Sunny. Warm.
We wore simple dresses. I held her hand. She held mine. No one asked for press coverage. No one drafted statements. This time it was real. I woke up that morning in our bed, the same bed where she once refused to even sleep near me, and found her staring at the ceiling. "You okay?" I asked, brushing hair from her eyes. "I'm terrified," she whispered. "Good," I said. "So am I." She smiled soft. "You still want to do this?" Desperately. "Even if I mess it up sometimes?" "Especially then. Even if I forget how to say the right things?" "You never forget," I said. "You just pretend you don't know how. You're insufferable. And you love me. More than I know how to explain." The ceremony was small. Just her sister, my best friend, and a judge with no patience for grand declarations. Alexandria didn't write vows. Neither did I. We didn't need them. Everything that had to be said was already in the way her thumb stroked mine during the entire thing. In the way her voice didn't even shake when she said, "I do." In the way she kissed me, not for the cameras, not for the press, not for the board or a contract or a negotiation, but like she meant it. Like she'd been waiting her whole life to kiss someone without fear. That night, we went home. No hotel. No flight. Just us. She kicked off her shoes at the door, loosened her hair, and turned to me. "Do you feel different?" she asked. "Not really. Me neither. But I feel better." Same. We ate takeout in bed. Drank champagne from mugs. Clementine, yes, the cat, climbed into our laps like she knew something big had happened and didn't care as long as we didn't move too much. Later, lying on the couch with her head on my chest, Alexandria whispered, "I used to think love had to be earned, that I had to suffer to deserve it. And now I think love is a decision. To choose someone, to stay, even when it's messy, even when you're scared. And you're choosing me? Every day. Every version of me. The ones I haven't met yet, too." I kissed her. "You're soft when you let yourself be. Only with you." Good. We still argued. About laundry. About takeout orders. About how many plants I was allowed to bring into the kitchen. But she kissed me every night. Held my hand in public. Called me wife, like it was the most natural word she'd ever learned. Sometimes she'd look at me, pause, and say, "You make it easy to believe in forever." And I'd smile and answer, "You make it worth it." One night, months later, we sat on the balcony with wine and a sky too full of stars for the city. "Remember the first time you offered to marry me?" I asked. "Barely. I was probably awful. You were cold, arrogant, terrifying. And now?"
Still all of that.
"But now you're mine. And you're not afraid of me anymore?"
No.
"You make it too hard to be scared when you're soft in my arms." "Don't say things like that," she whispered. "Why not?" "Because I'll do something reckless like cry." "Good. You can be arrogant and emotional. I promise the world won't collapse." She rolled her eyes and kissed me again. I held her tighter. Let myself believe in what we were building. Not perfect, but true. And when she said, "I'm glad I married you twice," I said, "You're not getting a third."
Fine, she smirked.
"But maybe we adopt a dog, just to balance out the emotional chaos." "You are the emotional chaos. And you are the only person insane enough to love it." I laughed. She laughed. The world didn't end. We didn't fall apart. We stayed. Not because of a contract. Not because of a timeline. Not because of need. But because somehow we'd both learned how to want. Together. Always. Thank you so much for your support, whether it's by liking, commenting, sharing, or sending your super thanks. You make all the difference here on the channel. See you in the next video.